Capricorn, last month was a tumultuous, epic month for all signs. This month seems to be the bedding in of that. And now I'm immediately drawn to two rather dark cards on the top of your spread. We have the Tower, sudden and abrupt ending. And then we have Death, also a sudden and abrupt ending. And what's the difference? Well, one is the Tower is that you built your foundations in the wrong way or wrong place and is necessary. The Death maybe isn't necessary. It's something that happens. I get the feeling that it's about your own view of it. And that is that if you see it as disaster, then it will be disaster. But if you see it as an opportunity to rebuild, then that's exactly what it is. And that opportunity to rebuild leads to the outcome, which is new wealth coming to you. The overall energy, the central card there, is one of determination, one of plodding along, but things happening very slowly. I wonder if you're anxious as a result of last month, that things aren't happening quickly enough. Bottom right, we have the card of charity. I don't know if that was you being charitable or you receiving charity. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it's just an energy of charity that seemed to be there in the past and no longer feels like it's there. Your current energy is that of wisdom, understanding what to do, a wisdom that comes both from the cerebral but also from experience. Maybe people even look to you for leadership because of that. And in the future we have a time of celebration. So despite those two cards that are somewhat disturbing, I have to say that I think this is a month of all's well that ends well. And that seems to be a pattern that's happening across many, many signs at the moment. The overall energy, and an energy that runs throughout all the other energies, is the Knight of Pentacles. He's very determined tonight. He gets the job done. You can rely on him. But he's painfully slow. I wonder if you're anxious for change and it's happening a little bit too slowly for you. Well, it's going to happen in this month, but maybe not in the way that you anticipated. But that quiet determination has to be a very positive sign. So I think this is a good energy to have placed here, even though you may find it a very frustrating month. And now, from the past, and it's the recent past, we have the card of charity. I've no idea if this was you being charitable or people being charitable towards you. And I suspect it doesn't matter, because I think it's your notion of the past as a gentler, more compassionate, more charitable time. A time without the tribalism that we seem to be plunged into now. A tribalism that's very much manufactured. You know, we seem to be heading towards even more conflicts and wars, when I think the common people don't want anything to do with it. Now, maybe I've gone off on one on that, but I think most of us feel that the past was a better time, and I'm sure objectively it was. And I think that's maybe all that this energy is trying to say to me. Current energy is that of the King of Swords. A very wise king, a wisdom that comes from experience. And when you put that together with that Knight of Pentacles, that determination, that slow plodding, I think it's sending a profound message about you. And I'm reminded, when I was a child, my father placed a poem called If by Rudyard Kipling next to my bed. And I think it sums up this energy brilliantly. And I'll just read the first line. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowances for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or be lied about but don't deal in lies, or being hated and don't give way to hating, and yet do not look too good nor talk too wise. And it ends by saying, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son. And that is the energy that's coming to me, that you are somebody that's keeping your head while all around is chaos and panic. But you've got this quiet determination. You've felt things like this before, and you know to keep your head, to be wise. Now, as I say, I believe all's well that ends well, and in the future you have cause for celebrating. I can see one reason why you'd be celebrating, but I think it is that you have kept your head, you have kept plodding on, and you know, when all around are losing their heads, you've kept it. This makes you something of a leader. I don't know if you're being called to leadership, but certainly you're quite capable of it. Yeah, you're quite capable of it, Capricorn. And you know to celebrate, and you know to thank for the bounty that we receive, even though everything seems to be falling around and crumbling around us. You feel like this steady rock, which I think is wonderful. And now we get to the top row of the spread, where things get somewhat darker. We have the Tower card. Sudden, abrupt, almost certainly unwelcome ending. But the thing about the Tower is that it's probably necessary. Whatever you're doing is built on bad foundations, and you're going to need to rebuild your life on much more solid foundations. What's this about? Well, certainly last year there was a paradigm shift in the universe. A shift away from the corruption, lies, manipulation and greed towards something that's much more loving, communal, caring. And I think maybe that's what this shift is about for you. Now, we do have that charity card in the past. So I don't think you're unaware of these things. In fact, I think you recognise the need for it. So that's why I'm not particularly concerned about this Tower card. And indeed it leads to the outcome, which I'd suggest is a good outcome. So even though it may seem a little bit dark, it's necessary as far as I can tell. What would change or alter the outcome? It's the Death card. The Death is a sudden, abrupt, probably unwelcome ending. So what's the difference? Well, death isn't necessarily necessary. Maybe inevitable, but isn't necessary. So what I think it is, it's all about your personal psychology and acceptance of what is happening. If you see the ending simply as an ending and look on the dark side of it, then you will not get the bounty that is coming as the outcome. Whereas if you recognise the need to rebuild, then something positive will come from it. Remember I said that the Tower card meant you need to rebuild your life. Well, the outcome is a new, probably financial opportunity. Could be a new job, it could be all sorts of things. But it's a blessing. It's starting afresh. It's getting something new. And yeah, you're going to have the opportunity to rebuild your life in the right way. I shun away from the word financial and money here a little, in as much as this year money as we know it is due to disappear, isn't it, with CDCs. So what should we call it? Wealth, bounty, whatever. It looks as though you will be blessed. And I think you deserve it, quite honestly, Capricorn. Capricorn, I think like many of us, you see the past as a more compassionate, more charitable age. And I think on any objective measure it was. You're aware of changes having occurred in the world or in the universe. And I think you can see through them and you understand them. You understand the trajectory, I believe. But maybe haven't fully comprehended what it all means for you. There's a determination in you. A determination to see things through, to get things done. And I think there's a cool-headedness about you that, while there is turmoil all around you, you're holding your head up high. And that's quite a leadership type of a trait that I think you've got. Maybe you feel things are moving slower than you'd expect. And again, I think that's true for all of us. Even though the turmoil is moving quickly, the reaction to it is moving much more slowly. But it is discernible. Now, I think your life, or something in your life, has been built on the old paradigm of manipulation, greed, corruption, lies. Not necessarily saying you're involved in any of that, but maybe your job is one that, when you really think about it, isn't that ethical. Whatever it is, it's going to come to an end. And how you see that ending is completely dependent on your future. if you see it simply as destruction, simply as something miserable, and I don't think you do, because I think you're clever enough to see through it, and I think you've got enough experience to know that things will turn out all right in the end. But if you do allow the depression to take over, things won't be so good. However, if you decide, well, I need to rebuild my life, rebuild it on more ethical foundations, then new opportunities, in terms of wealth in the broadest sense of it, are going to come to you. And in the future, you will celebrate what has happened, even though this might feel like a difficult month for you.